Want to remind everybody on January 18th, we have our RORO meeting here, Grand Lobby South, at 10 o'clock. So please put it in your planner so you can attend. Also, these were put into your in-house mailboxes. Please read this. There's a lot of information in here. It seems like the legislature is going to be working on Article 651 of the legislation, and you got to be careful what you wish for if they're going to change it, because that is going to affect everybody, because there are responsibilities in there for Regency Oaks organizations. So please read this. There's some good information in here from the CEOs of other CCRCs not owned by Healthpeak. So please, a lot of information in there. And since we're getting close to the town hall being completed, we're at 99%, I think. I hope. This is soon. I'll give you a reason why we say soon.
Yeah.
This is almost the 1-year anniversary from the Tuesday talk we had back in January of 22. And just for the people at home in 732, I have the picture of the slides for that Tuesday talk. And this one here is titled 2022 Construction Schedule. This has no reflection on Brent, because he was just the messenger. This came from on high, all the way to Iowa, which I'm kind of ashamed of, but that's the way it goes. For the town hall, mobilization, January 24th, 2022. 230 days of construction, open August 22nd, 2022. I meant 23, okay.
Just stick with Sue.
The fitness center, start May 26th, 55 days of construction, opening August 11th. That's that room with the 4 tons of cast iron over there too. And ladies, the beauty salon start April 27th. 54 days of construction, open July 13th. I really missed that one. So that's why we say soon. Okay, Brent, I'm done.
Well, thanks, Chris. See if I ask you to start a meeting again. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So it's funny. I've been off. I took last week off, so I had like 10 days to rest, and had 10 days of rest to come back and finish off the last 10 days. So I'm well rested, and it's good to be here. All right, next up is Christine.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a great holiday season. I just wanted to remind you that if you need any assistance putting any of your decorations away or getting rid of any of your dust bunnies from everything that's been moved around with family members coming and shuffling in and out, please contact us. We're always available to help you any way that we can. Have a great day.
Thank you. So, who made a New Year's resolution? So it is true. As you become older, you get wiser, and you learn not to make reservations.
Brent, a New Year's resolution is simply a day planner for the first week in January.
So yeah, I found this quote. It's very similar. A New Year resolution is something that goes in one year and out the other. But I did think it would be interesting to see what the top 5 New Year's resolutions were for 2023. Exercise more, lose weight, get organized, learn a new skill or hobby, and then live life to the fullest. So I don't know what your resolution was, but maybe it was one of the top 5. And welcome 2023. It's a year full of a lot of changes for me and for the community and for Lindsay as well. So with that being said, let me welcome to the podium Lindsay Weaver. We're glad you're here.
Can y'all hear me? Just make sure. Hello? No?
Uh-oh.
He doesn't want me to talk today.
Testing. There we go. Thank you. Well, to begin with, my New Year's resolution was to learn my way around Regency Oaks. I've been here for about 48 hours. I got here late Saturday evening after a two-day car ride with my very crying cat. So I was hoping just to get a little acclimated first and foremost. But I'm so happy to be here. You may or may not know, but I actually have been at another LCS, Life Care and Health Peak community in Houston, Texas. I was born in Tampa, so I have basically just come back home. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to work with you all. It's not my first rodeo, just a little bit larger of a community with a little bit more residents to serve. So I look forward to working with you. I plan to spend the next week or two getting acclimated with Brant. He's so happy and so full of energy that we'll make sure that we have a seamless process and that we can carry on, making sure our residents are happy, and I can take it from here. So if there'll be plenty of time for questions and to get to know everybody, please bear with me. There is a lot of residents and a lot of associates to learn all their names. I love the name tags, it helps me. I'm very visual, so it's good to see Miss Margaret again and Chris. Where'd he go? There he is, back there. And I really look forward to serving you all. I'm glad to be here, and thank you again for the opportunity.
And then note that this Thursday, January the 5th, 3:30 to 4:30, right here in the Grand Lobby South, there's going to be a wine reception to welcome Lindsay. There's not entertainment. We've just set it up so that you'll have an opportunity to individually get to know her, introduce yourself to her, and welcome her to Regency Oaks. So we look forward to that. That is this Thursday, right here in this room at 3:30 to 4:30. All right. So this is the flu map. You're used to seeing that. You'll recall that we no longer have a numeric rating for flu like that you're used to seeing with COVID. They give us categories. And Regency Oaks and the state of Florida has been down in that low-high range. The state of Florida has now bumped up to the second from the top. It's very high. So the flu risk in the state of Florida right now is very high. Hillsborough County is critical. It has not spread across the bridge to Pinellas County, but it is something that we're concerned about and that we're watching and monitoring. The numbers have gone up in Pinellas County. Regency Oaks still looks really good. We have so many of you who participated and got your flu shots and are ready for this. Same thing with our staff. It's a very large number who have been inoculated for the flu. But next slide. There are some things that we can do to make to help ourselves and make sure that flu doesn't outbreak here in the community. It starts with the first: if you are sick, stay at home. Don't come out of your apartment. Tell somebody. We can get early intervention, and you won't spread it. Cover your mouth and your nose with coughs and sneezes. That's the number one way that this flu is spread. And so make sure that if you are symptomatic, coughing or sneezing, that you pay extra attention to cough into the crook of your elbow. Wash your hands with soap and warm water frequently if you are out and about in public, if you are touching common area spaces, faucets, doors, elevator buttons, any of those common area spaces. You want to make sure that you're frequently washing your hands. Try to not touch your nose, your mouth, and eyes. That is where you can take the virus and spread it on to others through your hands. And then clean and disinfect surfaces in your apartment to make sure that you are killing the virus if it's in your apartment. So together we will continue to work on this, monitor it, and hope that we continue to have very low numbers. Leslie does a great job of reporting and tracking this. And then with IHS and our home health agency, Grace, we have services that we're able to put in place almost immediately for people who do come down with either the flu or COVID. Okay, construction timelines. It's all coming soon. The barber and beauty shop is essentially done. Lindsay and I walked it this morning. It's essentially done. Will be 100% done by the end of the week. We're still waiting for a couple of pieces of equipment, and we also need to put back in place the furniture that was existing. And so that's going to be wrapping up here. The fitness center should be done by the end of the day. They have the noise abatement panels on the wall. They've repositioned the React machine and putting it closer to the wall so it's not sticking out into the middle of the room. They've tested it and it actually is working, so that's a good thing. The noise abatement panels will go up today or tomorrow, along with the TVs. And so that is wrapping up really quickly. The town hall, the wainscoting, this is what they did last week when I was gone. You know, it's amazing when you walk down there every single day and you look at the daily improvements, it seems like it's just taking forever. When you're out a week and you walk back and you look at the progress, it's a lot easier to pick up. And so last week what they were able to accomplish is the wainscoting, the shoe molding, and the bath tiles. This week what they're working on is the landscaping, the mirrors, the accessories, all the wallpaper. Wallpaper is going above the chair rails and the wainscoting in all the common areas. And then the artwork will go in as well. The building is scheduled to be done this week. We have heard that directly from not John, who is the local foreman, but the project manager, Tim, with Schaefer, and he's pretty committed to that. He's given us a building turnover date, but I'm not going to share that. He is being a little bit more optimistic than we think he should be. There is an in-between step between the building being done and us being given full occupancy, permitted, ready to go. It's called a temporary occupancy permit. We are anticipating that we should have that in hand by the 12th. And so that will allow us to start moving the staff and start putting in place all the equipment that the handheld equipment that Ricky will need, and the catering kitchen, and help us get ready for open and operations. And so it will happen this month. We're confident this month. We just are not as confident in a specific date. So we'll continue to monitor that. Odds and ends, the ancillary increase is now available. Hold on, just 2 pages. The ancillary increase of all the charges is now going to be available. And how are we making this available? At the front desk? Front desk. So anyone that would like the specifics on the ancillary increases, those will be available at the front desk. They became effective January 1st. Ginger asked me to announce that the vocal cords are being pushed back 1 week, and so they're just going back 7 days, and they will meet on the 11th. The spa heater for the pool has been replaced. That was they were able to accomplish that last week. You know, this has been a really tough year. That thing has gone up or on and off half a dozen times over the last 6 months. And so we made the decision to just go ahead and replace it. And that was our last capital approved item for 2022. And so that should solve that issue, and we shouldn't have any more problems with the spa. Yes. We had some heat issues over the weekend, and I'll apologize right up front. We failed miserably in communicating what was going on with residents. I'll take accountability for that. You should have been given notification. Evidently, that did not go out. We didn't do a call them all. There was nothing put in your mailboxes. It was just a lapse of management, and so I'm accountable for that and apologize that that did not occur. But what did happen is we lost normally in warm weather operations, which is pretty much all year here in Florida, we have a series of daisy-chained boilers in our boiler room. And then there is an additional ancillary boiler that, should we have cold weather, the ancillary boiler, which sits up on the roof, that will kick in and give additional hot water to raise the temperature in the chilling towers. That boiler failed. Darwin immediately called people. They were here the very day of the failure. They worked on it all through the weekend. Its parts are very difficult to get these days, and so what was a 2-hour repair took 48 hours, just because we were waiting to get the parts and be able to get that repaired. It is up and running. We've tested it. We now have heat back in the building. We don't need it right now, but there is another cold spell coming at the end of the week, and so at least we're going to be ready for this next adventure in winter weather. And then, last but not least, who has seen the robot? Okay, the robots are here. They are out and about. They are vacuuming right now. Evan has them set at 2 floors per week. They are very smart robots. If they see you coming, they will stop and they will give way to you. They're designed to allow pedestrians the right of way, and it will go right back to its mapped out schedule as soon as you pass. But one of the other things that Evan wanted to do is to have a contest on naming the robot. And so you're going to get a flyer in your mailbox this evening to name the robot, and responses, it'll tell you where to return the responses. And I understand that the winner is going to not only have the bragging rights for having named the Regency Oaks robot, but there's also a handsome prize. So we hope you'll deep cleaning. I don't know what it is, but I will make that suggestion. All right. January Forum this Friday. It's the monthly department updates. There will be donuts. It's always a great temptation, and that's Friday at 10 a.m. And unfortunately, it will be here in the Grand Lobby South instead of the new town hall. All right, that's everything we have for you this morning. We'll open it up for questions. Lindsay and I are both available to take questions, and we have a microphone. Did we get this one up and running? Yeah, you're good. All right, Chris is manning the mics. Test us.
I have a robot question. Is it one robot or 2 robots?
2.
Okay, because I was picturing the thing running through the breezeway track.
One per building.
Oh, they were both over in the north building, just buzzing up and down the hallway.
Probably because we were mapping them. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do that first.
Yeah, you have to map them first.
I'm Rosa. Brent, I want to thank you and your staff and the construction company to get the arts and craft room back into working mode. In fact, I think we're going to need sunglasses to work. It's so bright in there.
It came out nice. It looks nice. Thank you very much.
Grant,
Someone, where are you?
I'm over here.
Okay.
Whoops. That's one way to follow the lady's laugh. If the final version of the service charges, the extra service charges is done, when are we going to get it physically?
Roger, that's the ancillary service pricing. It will be available at the front desk today.
Right, thank you.
You bet.
Yeah. Brent, how about the stuccoing of the, where the wires went to the north building? I mean, I was not seeing anybody even looking at it.
Yeah, and so they actually, he's talking about that new piece of construction in the north, back of the north building where all the electrical and the wiring went. They did last week, I noticed, put in the framing for the stucco. The stucco guy is here on Wednesday or Thursday, and there's one small piece of stucco left on the building. He's going to get it all at one time and then get that painted this week as well. The one other thing I didn't mention is the temporary walkway is also going to be left in place, but there are the 2 spots that they need to rip up and repave. That will supposedly happen this week as well.
Brent,
Where are you?
over here.
Okay.
When will we get normal housekeeping again?
So when will we get normal housekeeping again? And there was an announcement on that was supposed to happen while I was gone. Do you know if that occurred?
No, I think he said next week.
The 6th is
second week
the
of
date.
January.
Yeah, so the date I had before I went on vacation, I think it is still a good date, is the 6th of January.
That's Friday.
Yeah. So that following Monday, we'd be back to normal housekeeping. Weekly. Yes, ma'am.
It's been now, I think, several months since you said that we could get a total vinyl replacement for $1,500. I'm still waiting, and I have a lot of broken vinyls, though if it gets a cold rain coming that way, it's going to flood.
Yeah. So we've had very few takers on the total vinyl replacement for $1,500. I'm prepared to close that out, maybe give everyone until the end of the week. So if you're interested in having your total vinyl replaced in your lanai, we'll leave that open through the end of this week. The cost is $1,500, whether you're in the smallest apartment or the largest apartment. We went to CDS and we got a group price of $1,500. It's about $450 less than their standard price. So if you don't take us up on the offer to participate in the group replacement, it would cost you $1,950 if you decided to do this in February. So I'll leave that open through the end of the week. I only have about 3 people on the list, unless we added some last week. We'll just leave it open till the end of the week and then get it scheduled.
So when could they start it?
Almost right away. I mean, they have to work it into the schedule, but there is not a supply chain issue with the material. You come next.
I was told I was having my floor replaced. The wood floor in the living room. What is the plan now?
So your apartment was affected by the fire, and so I don't know the exact date, but how they're doing the repair work in the R wing is by the trades. And so the wallpaper, and then the carpet guy, and then the painter, and then, so they do it by trades. And I know that the flooring trades have not started yet. But when they start, they'll do the floors in all the apartments. And so it's scheduled, but I don't have the date right now. If you call the front desk, Betsy, or if you call Betsy, we'll get you a date.
I have two issues I would like to address. Number one, several people have approached me because the temporary carpet that went down in the third and fourth floor because of the fire damage to the floors that were there, that's glued down squares, and they went right over the beautiful wood. And I have assured them that in the long term of our refurbishment of the north building, that all will be removed, the wood will be sanded down, refinished, and we will have our wood sections. I just want you to confirm that it's right, because that's the answer I've been giving. Back me up, Brad.
Okay, so Bobby is the chairperson of our design committee. She's fully informed and she's 100% accurate. The wood floors, it didn't matter if we glued the carpet squares right over the floors, because they all are going to be sanded down and refinished. And so she's 100% correct, but our plan is to absolutely retain all of that beautiful wood flooring.
Thank you. The other issue, which I have also been approached by several people, and why they think I might know, I don't know, but I quoted you. It's about the damn $350 takeout fee. I hate to even bring it up, but there are people who have legitimate reasons why they need to take out, and you know that, we all know that. And they are upset because they don't know how to go about getting an exemption. I explained what you said at Tuesday Talk. Well, number one, they watch Tuesday Talk, but they can't read what it says because the print's too little on their TV, or they can't hear and understand it. They can't physically come to see you because they do have issues. So I said, my suggestion is that you call Brad or call Betsy and ask for an appointment with Brad and get there when you can to sit down with him, because he did state he does not want to be covered up with emails and notes.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Bobby. So yeah, do not come and see me. But here's what you need to do. If you think you need an exemption, you just need to call me and I'll put your name on a list. Lindsay and I will be making a decision on how we're going to handle the exemptions this week, and we will communicate that back to you. But please do not send me physician notes. That is not the deciding factor. And so I don't need your physician's notes, but if you believe that you have a legitimate reason and that you ought to be exempt, please call and let me know. You don't need to come and see me. You don't need to send me a physician's note. You just need to tell me that I think I should be on that list. We don't want to even know why you think you ought to be on that list. And then we will be in consulting with our brain trust. Lindsay and I will be coming up with a decision which we will communicate to you this week.
I also have something to say about the 350. I missed the meeting 2 weeks ago when you brought up the 350 amount. When I came back in from an appointment I had, okay, everyone was up in arms about the 350. And I couldn't understand it. So I thought I'd be like football, and I'd go to instant replay and see what you had to say about it, okay? And you were saying you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's the right thing to do for the people here. It may be the right thing to do for the administration, but it's not the right thing to do for the people who reside here, okay? And by giving exemptions, you're also saying, well, maybe it's not the right thing to do. Also, I think it was a bit of bullying when you said, even if you people go to Channel 9, it's not going to make any difference. We've made up our mind. This is what we're going to do. I don't like being bullied. I was brought up in Brooklyn, okay? And when you lived in Brooklyn and people bullied you, they kept bullying you unless you bullied back. And I don't like being bullied, okay? I think it's up to you and Roro to get together and decide on some way to settle these differences that you have and not force upon us something like you force upon the meal a day plan. Okay, and now we have a meal a day plan and we can't even use it, okay, because you're putting on us another thing, which is a $3.50 if you pick it up. And we're not even having it set, we're picking it up. So I think I'm leaving it in Roro's hands to get together with the administration and decide on something that's fair for everybody.
This is certainly not new. It's something that we've been talking about for going on 2 years. And it goes so far back, you may recall that it was in last year's ancillary, can you hear me? Okay, it goes back so far, well, I think that's worse. Uh-oh, it's stuck, all right.
Even your mic agrees with us.
This goes back so far, or so long ago, that it was in last year's ancillary price increase. Now, we waived it because you'll recall in January of last year, we had a COVID outbreak and it was with us for 30 days, and then we had another outbreak in June, and so we just never felt like we were back to normal operations, we're ready to make this change. I have an old slide here. I think it's I think it's the very first one in my resource deck. If you can. So here's all the rationale for why we felt this decision was necessary. And so yes, right up there. Second one is residents are being isolated and lack socialization. That is one of our concerns. And hold on, let me talk, and then I'll show you the same courtesy when you talk. But here's what our rationale behind this. Residents are isolated and lack socialization. Pre-pandemic, we did 35 a night. We're up to 180 a night. That's 45% of our population that is not coming to the dining room. They're not having socialization. They're isolated in their apartments. And when I talk about what's the right thing to do for residents, the right thing to do is to stop denying residents the opportunity for socialization, and one of the ways to accomplish that is to get you out of your room. Hold on. Our best food presentation is in the dining room, where hot food is served hot, cold food is served cold, and your food and our presentation is not, our attractive plate appearance is not served hours later out of a styrofoam box that's been jostled and tossed and is having to be reheated. And so our best presentation, I know you don't agree with this, but our management team, Ricky and Chef, we all are of the same belief that the very best presentation of our food is in our dining rooms. That's where you have the highest quality and the best presentation.
Hold on, everybody.
Let me get through the list.
Let's behave ourselves. This is a good meeting.
So I want you to do this quick exercise with me. If we do 180 a night and we can do, let's say we can do a pickup in 5 minutes. That's really, really quick. But let's say it's 5 minutes. That is more than 15 hours a night. And people never understand when I say it is impacting the flow of our dining rooms. Here's what that means. It means that those 15 hours that we used to use in the dining room, we've shifted those hours because we're now providing for to-goes and pickups. And what that does is it lowers the quality of the service in the dining room. we can't keep doing that. And so I understand how you feel, but here's the last of the reasons. It is also helps to offset the cost of supplies and the labor associated with doing that. And so, all right, so one at a time, whoever has a microphone, Chris, you're in charge. Bill.
They control the microphone.
This has nothing to do with eating. I wanted to give you one more crack at a construction topic.
Okay, good.
Could you give us some insight as to what the scope and schedule of the asphalt work is?
The asphalt?
Yeah, please.
I don't have anything right now.
You don't? Okay.
But
Just curious.
Lindsay is making notes, and she'll capture that and speak with Darwin, and we'll have an answer by next Tuesday.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I have some comments to make about this whole business with the 350, et cetera. I don't know why you think hitting us in the pocketbook is necessarily going to change people's behavior. It seems to me all it's going to do is increase the coffers. And for Lindsay, who's listening to this, Lindsay, we have had a history lately, well, certainly since I've been here, which is a year and a half, of things being done to us and not with participation. Brand does not listen. He does not listen. He makes up his mind and he tells us. And then he comes, and I don't care how long you've been thinking about this, it's the wrong thing. So I personally am very delighted that you're retiring because I'm not sure how much longer any of us will put up with this. And Lindsay, please don't give a sheet of his songbook because he's not somebody to follow. If you were to take a reading of what's going on here, people are very angry. Some people
Chris,
are moving out.
adjourn the meeting. I think this is enough. A lot of us feel that way.
I have really broad shoulders. I can take it. Thank you very much. It's not quite the message I'd want to take into retirement, but I'm tough. I can take it. Don?
Grant, I have two requests, please. Please go to the south dining room and look at the covered walkway, the roof. It's very dirty, and this is what we look at when we eat, and that really needs to be cleaned up. The other request is that the TV and the phone has never worked right in the beauty shop. I hope that in the redo, the TV's going to work and the phones are going to work. Would you please make sure that is the case?
I will follow up on the beauty shop electronics, and then the south roof that comes off of the exit door is scheduled to be washed prior to them getting out of here.
Thank you.
I'm a new resident. I've been here less than 2 weeks, and I have to say that I'm extremely disappointed about the $350 charge. I think it is an outrageous amount. I understand the need for a charge, but I think to begin at $350 is outrageous. But I don't know if I'm more upset about the $350 or the styrofoam containers. Styrofoam is probably one of the worst material you could use for the environment. Not only that, it's dangerous to use it in the microwave. How many people know or remember that when it comes time to heat up the food? And to say one of the reasons for doing this is it makes a better presentation of food in the dining room? That's nonsense. I'm really extremely upset about this.
Thank you.
Brant, you know, I'm not going to go into so many details, but that's just not a good idea. It defies logic. And the worst part about it is you're digging a very deep starting hole for Lindsay. And that's not fair.
And so that's one of the reasons we did this now is Lindsay had nothing to do with it, and so if you want to be angry at someone, that's me right here. Lindsay had no involvement in this. I can tell you, and if you've spoken to Sherry, I know Sherry has met with our executive board and has shared this with our executive board. This is not something just happening at Regency Oaks. It's happening at the other communities because it's all the reasons that we've listed are the accurate reasons of why we ought to be considering changes.
You can see that the residents here are definitely against the 350, okay? And it's like you're nickel and diming us when it comes to that. Now, you also made a statement that I saw when I saw the instant replay, that not even if you called Channel 9 and had a talk with Channel 9 about it, it wouldn't do you any good. We're going to do it. Well, you know, if they went to Channel 9 or they went to the Tampa Bay Times or any of the other cable channels and talked to them about what's going on here and how we're outraged by this 350 amount and some of the other things that have been done that have upset us, that it would not look good for Regency Oaks. It might not directly help us. Like you said, it's not going to be of any good. It wouldn't directly help us, but indirectly, if Regency Oaks got a bad name, okay, it would help us. So you have to think about that part of it too.
So, you know, here's, I mean, let's just be honest with one another. We've been talking about this for over a year. I bet you I have spoken about this on 20 separate occasions. So it's not something that is new or that you shouldn't expect. We can go back and pull the dates. Chris has stood before this body and forum. He has addressed the need and asked for your help in trying to reduce the numbers. And so it's, you know, I know that it's 350 is a lot of money, and that I know that you're opposed and that you don't agree. But it's not 100% accurate to say that there hasn't been discussion, because there certainly has been discussion. But here's where we are on this is, although we've listened to your limited input over the course of the last year, a decision was made. You had opportunity to participate. Your board had an opportunity to weigh in. But ultimately, some of these operation decisions belong to operations, not to the residents. And so we have taken a look. We have taken a look at our operations and made the decision that this is in the best interest of operations and of our residents. And so we are...
Hold it, come on now. We will end this meeting, but Bobby had a good suggestion. If we keep on yelling and screaming, this is not behavior of adults.
And so although I understand and I hear that you don't agree, the decision has been made, and we are prepared to move forward with it because it's an operations decision that is in the best interest of operations and of our residents.
Hold on, we got another question here.
Brent, when you talked about this last year, you said you were using it as a threat to hold over us, for us to reduce the number of people who would do takeout. You never said that it was something that you were suspending because of COVID. It was, we won't enforce this if everybody drops back. And from what I can see, there has been a radical decrease in takeout.
No, there hasn't. And so I would not characterize it as a threat. We certainly talked about the numbers being pre-pandemic in the 30, 35, now we're up to 180. We were not able to get it down. We did certainly talk about there are going to have to be countermeasures. We cannot continue to do this for all these reasons. We're going to have to find a solution. We worked with all of you to try to find a solution, and even after all the appeals that Chris and that I made, we were not successful in driving down the numbers. And so it's still the right decision. And I feel sort of like we're going over I sort of feel like we're going over the same material. So, Roger, do you have anything new?
Yeah, new. Set aside your ego and accept the rebellion here, because your hole you're digging for poor Lindsay is getting deeper and deeper. Yeah. She's going to inherit a mess, and it's a lot of.
I think we can end the meeting with that last comment, because we're going around in circles. We're doing the same thing over and over.
That's because you won't listen.
I think the residents are leaving a very bad impression of our behavior with our meals. This is the impression she needs that.
All right, so who has the mic? Who has the mic?
Grant, I have
The mic is right there, go
I
ahead.
understand is if a couple has a meal delivered to their room, it's a $10 charge, is that correct?
It's 11.
Huh?
11.
$11 charge.
Two people times $5.50. It's $11.
$5.50 each.
Now it's $5.50 instead of $5.
$11. Yes.
I have a question. This is independent living, correct? Why does Regency Oaks feel it necessary to make certain we socialize with people?
Because this is independent living. And so taking advantage of, if you go back and you look at Ginger's, with the 8 goals of our activities program, one of them is to give you opportunities for socialization and to keep you from being isolated. It's in our mission statement.
And we do.
And we do.
We have one last question. Right there.
Why don't we have recycling?
What?
Why don't we have recycling?
Yeah. So the recycling business has almost completely dried up. We were very active in recycling. We ran into issues with OSHA. We ran into some problems with the city of Clearwater with waste management. And so recycling has changed pretty drastically over the last 2 years. Used to be there were people who would buy your paper and your bottles and your cardboard, and that's not the case anymore. All right. We have one more? All right, hold on. Mike coming.
Pat. 3 questions. My wife is very sick with bronchitis. We did not want to come to the restaurant to eat. I called in. Am I charged either $3.50 or $7 to pick up our meals?
So are you doing it because your wife is currently ill?
Absolutely, she's doing it to stay away so that nobody else gets sick.
So our policy is because if you're sick, we don't want you in the dining rooms. And so the policy right now is you get 12 per year at no charge, 3 per month. So if you have an occasion of illness, we don't want you in the dining room, and so we've come up with...
She's been sick all week, and it could last another 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, so that's why you get 12 a year.
Let me find out, am I charged $7?
12 a year is not...
Wait a minute, or 7. I picked up my meal because I want to eat with her, and I picked up her meal. Is that $7?
It's $3.50 per. $5.50 per.
All right, I have one more question. Thank you for answering that. Lindsay, how do you feel about all this? After... No, what I mean is, do you think there's room for...
change?
So first off, it's definitely a hard conversation to have, and I obviously wasn't privy to the delivery of it, nor the participation and the ongoing discussions. I will let you know that it was something that was implemented at my community, different parameters, different policies, different processes, and it was similar reasons, the biggest one being a lot of the extended cost. Those styrofoam containers, the boxes, all of those things had about a 60% inflationary rate on those, and so those were getting very, very, very tough for us to be able to purchase. So in return, we were trying to get our residents to return back to the dining room because there was some disgruntlement about dining services, right? You want a good experience, you want a good meal, you want a hot meal, the socialization, just the entire experience of dining. Well, that's hard to do when you're picking your food out of a box. So we were really trying to get back to the drawing board and kind of start from there, getting our residents to the dining room. This community is very, very blessed. I did not have that at my previous community. Our food and beverage program is one of the best in the entire company. So I'm excited to take advantage of that, and I think that that's something that we are trying to encourage the residents to do as well. The delivery fee, be that the $5.50, is also to help with the staffing costs that it requires as well as the packaging costs. So again, I'm sure the message was discussed with Brant and the RoRo board, but I do understand, and this, I'm not new to this concept. Again, this community is a little bit bigger, but same disgruntlement, and we worked through it. So we will be reviewing the exemption process and what that looks like. And my goal is to work with you. My goal is not to stand up here and have you all angry. That doesn't help any of us. So I will, obviously speak with Brant, kind of get to the bottom of the intricacies of the decisions. And we will let you know by the end of the week how that exemption process looks like.
12 a month, 12 a year is not a good amount. I like to go out every once in a while. Now I eat in the dining room, okay? But once in a while we like to go out. If I went out once a week, okay, that's 52 times a year. 12 does not satisfy that. So when I go out to eat, even though I'm paying for an excessive price for a meal, okay, I also have to pay $7 because I didn't take food in. Okay, so those things have to change. Your numbers have to change because you're forcing numbers on us that doesn't allow us to socialize. You want us to socialize only in here, or can we go out and socialize with relatives and friends when we feel like it, even if it's on a once a week basis?
I most certainly can probably speak for Brant and the team. We most certainly want you to live your best life, whatever that looks like, whether that's here at the community, out in the community, at restaurants. Again, this dining program is a little different than mine, so I do need to get my head around the pricing and those things before I can personally speak to that. But again, I just want to reassure you that the last thing I want is a lot of angry residents about a $3.50 delivery. So I'm going to get with Brant and we're going to see what we can do to work with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Any last questions? One more question.
I stole your mic. I'm so sorry.
I just want to say a few things about the recycling. We had a good recycling program here, except there were a lot of residents who misused it badly. They threw stuff in the recycling, which made it unrecyclable. They throw garbage in. There were posters down there explaining what needed to be done, how it had to be separated, and we, as I understand it, one time we got hit with a $2,500 fine because it was contaminated when they picked it up and tried to dispose of it. Now, the other side of this is that my wife feels very strongly about this. I got problems, I can't see very well. But she does every day separate the stuff, And then when she goes out to the grocery store or whatever, there are places around here where you can drop it off yourself. And she does that. Okay? So, any of these kinds of programs have got to have the cooperation of the people who are using them. Otherwise, they have to stop it. Okay?
Thank you. I think everybody's opinion has been expressed and approved. But with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.